Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is June 30th, 2024. Howard, how are you spending the summer so far?
I'm here at the same place, I think, Coronado, just enjoying, well, the weather's been spectacular. We had a little bit of the heat wave, but it's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah,
The how's daddy life?
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's sleeping, so everything's good.
Nice. All right, so take us through it. Got a little reversal there on Friday.
Yeah, a little bit reversal for the end of the quarter, but overall, the uptrend is still intact. As you can see, the Nasdaq 100 is still trading above the rising 20, the rising 50-day moving average. So still in an uptrend. Last week we saw a sector rotation that we talked about the week before, whilst the semiconductor leaders are consolidating recent gain and kind of pulling back.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they pull back even, further and test their rising 50-day, many of them, like NVIDIA and ARM Holdings and MU and etc. It's completely normal for them to consolidate through time or through a deeper pullback. We saw definitely a rotation back into software, like software and internet stock had a big breakout, strong finish,
Yeah.
and
It depends what type of software. It's not cloud stuff. It's like Oracle, Microsoft leading the way there.
yeah, Microsoft. I mean, even anything internet really. Amazon broke out. Google obviously was also strong. Um, Stocks like DDOG, which kind of they're making their AI pivot. Also, big rally, building a new base here. So definitely a big move in software, as you can best see in IGV. You can see that big move, especially on Thursday.
Mhm.
It's kind of working on a new base here. So this is a very typical trait of bull markets, just a sector rotation.
Yeah.
While some leaders are pulling back, others are stepping up.
Mhm.
And it's been the name of the game. Obviously, last week, the other major change that I saw is that we saw a lot of failed breakouts. I mean, not failed breakouts, but breakouts that would only last like a day and a half.
Yeah.
And after that, they would reverse, which, it's kind of normal when the market rotates, when it's to be a little bit choppier, especially in the summer.
Yeah.
And while everyone is still waiting for small cap to catch up and to finally break out and lead, that's not happening. Mega caps and large caps are still leading by a lot. And even with, I mean, obviously we have a strong US dollar. We have interest rates kind of in a range.
Yeah.
So there's really no catalyst that would help small caps to suddenly start to outperform. They're just stuck in a big range here, and probably
Yeah.
that's not going to change until we see a big move in interest rates in either direction.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, another thing that stands out is that many of those classic brands are struggling in the
Yeah.
past year or so.
The classic consumer brands, right? They're heavy.
Yeah, we're talking about Nike.
That's
Here,
just, listen, I don't own it. I mean, I was stopped out and
yeah,
right
here's the
back.
monthly. Here's the monthly. Obviously, this
I
still have
remember
made.
selling some at 100 going, I hate selling it, but here's, it's kind of like Disney and Starbucks. It's just,
Yeah, exactly. So you mentioned them. So Nike, Lulu, all of those classic popular brands are for whatever reason struggling, and all four of them are like down 20, 30, 40% for the past year in the midst of a bull market. And one of the main rules in a bull market is don't buy stocks that make new 52-week lows in a bull market,
yeah.
because they usually are there for a good reason.
Yeah. They're a trap, right? They're not bad. they're just a
Yeah.
trap, right? Like
You know,
the margins aren't there, the COVID hangover, the bad hiring. I can't explain it, but they're all the charts kind of look the same, right? It's just a really, you're talking about 8 to 10 years of not Lulu so much, right? Like that's just been to continue to be an innovator. But yeah, I don't know, it's a tough space. It's just like,
considering how much the tech sector is up, they're definitely underperforming. And maybe, maybe the tech companies were more nimble and they were able to cut costs quickly during the
they're not as affected by inflation. Like tech companies
yeah.
just, I mean, I did this when it came back to stock. It's, it's when you're 100 people, 300 people, 500 people, it's easy to make quick cuts. When you're the size of Starbucks, it's not like these companies didn't have great runs for decades, but the
Yes, they did.
world's a different place, and I can't figure it out. But like, you've got to be really focused on risk management. Like I said, I think index investing has never been easier, and it's also picking stocks is not easy. So I don't know. I mean, some stuff's working. Like look at the first solar breakout, right? Like it was kind of
Yeah.
like you were thinking if solar would catch up to the first solar breakout, and then it's right back into.
I mean, the entire solar sector has been just like down.
That's what I'm saying. The solar sector didn't follow first solar. In fact, it was a trap, right?
Yeah.
China looked like it might be breaking out and just kind of
down every day. I gave up everything.
So gave up everything and more. So you got to be like really disciplined, or your losers just start piling up.
Yeah, you need to be nimble.
But iSurge, like one that's worked is iSurge, which is in the technology, medical,
slower
healthcare.
mover, but definitely it didn't look back after it broke out here above 400, up 10% since then.
Yeah. So maybe if it doesn't have a true tech benefit, and it's not like Starbucks is going to benefit from AI. It's not like Nike's going to benefit from AI. It's not like Lulu's going to benefit from AI. They're still asking consumers to spend a lot of money on a brand, whether it's coffee or shoes, that a nimble startup, can do. And so people are being more discerning. So it's, I would say it's hard to look at the breadth because Apple's 10 Fortune 500 companies, right? And so the breadth is good theoretically because Apple's 10 Fortune 500, Apple Watch is the largest watch company, right? There was top Fortune 100 company, the Apple Watch, Michael said on our show last week. So Apple is breadth, right? Apple, Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA, it's kind of breadth on their own because of how big they are. So it's tricky. And you throw in the summer, throw in the fact that we're like a headless country. I mean, the narrative was like, don't vote for Trump. So it doesn't change anything for me that Biden hasn't been alive. But, when to see it happen and to see how much, the media, I mean, there's just a lot of concern out there right now. My neighbors, I think, getting mauled.
I mean, the market's up like, 20%, the QQQ, the S&P is up like 16, 17%. So, I mean, a lot of people can
you've had
say,
a great run. People
we've
are
had a great year. Just maybe take some profit, hedge, and just take the summer off. I wouldn't be surprised if many people were thinking that way.
I think that's what people are thinking. It's you got Tour de France is on. You've got summer in Europe. You've got elections. You've got a great first half of the year. I think there'll be some great moves in stocks as people swing money around, but I think the indexes will probably be quiet. But again, just depends on where people put money. And but I mean, to chase the FANG stocks, which have been driving the returns, and the Magnificent Seven seems a little bit. It's not
typically it's been wiser to wait to buy dips in them, but that also depends on your time frame. Obviously, if you're a day trader, that doesn't matter. But
I'm trying to think what else I see on my list.
To me, it'll be interesting to see if we start a new quarter, if biotech will finally try to rally again, since it's kind of setting up here on the weekly. It has had like 4 very tight weekly closes, and since it's a new quarter, we might see some fresh inflows. But it's been super choppy in general, and obviously it's not really trading that different than small caps in general.
Yeah.
But it's definitely one of the sectors that, like, I'll be paying attention next week, since it's just a new quarter, even though it's a shorter holiday week, so we might not see much movement. But definitely things tend to slow down after 4th of July in general.
Yeah.
But one of the sectors I'll be watching.
Yeah, nuclear continues to be, it's in a pullback, but it's a sector that I'm watching.
Yeah,
Especially with solar kind of giving up the ghost. Will nuclear follow and give up the ghost? Or nuclear going to lead, and solar was kind of a misdirection on where money's going to get spent. And back on the surgical space, PRCT, which is kind of in the same space of it, but it's for urology. That's a really good breakout. That's on my screen on this pullback.
okay, that's a pretty
It was a
significant
strong
pullback.
IPO. Never, during those terrible years, and that's going to be a leader, right? But it doesn't have earnings yet. But
I mean, if you believe this will be a leader, this is a good place to start buying.
It's IPO, it's
on this
robotics, it's in
Yeah.
urology. It's just $3 billion company. So I'm doing a little work there. Again, it goes to more what baskets, and I'm looking through some other breakouts.
Are you testing their products or something, or?
No. But I'm sure I'm going to be a customer. Hang on. What else was I going to say that's interesting? I'm just looking. I think what's interesting too is New York Times, right? I talked about it for months. I don't own it, but if you told me where the New York Times was going to be, right?
Yeah.
It's like Facebook, New York Times, right? One's 8 billion and one's, I don't know, $1 trillion, but basically stand for the same thing: misinformation, narrative. And I think in a world where it's a comedy, or both sides can be made fun of, New York Times is an opinion paper, not as a newspaper. It looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I don't think it's and there's just a lot of opinion to sell going into this election. So that's one that I've just been watching, to sort of like creepy aggravation. And that's it. I'm not, I'm going to take some time off too this summer. So it's not like I'm chasing down ideas.
Yeah.
And then with software, it's super select, right? It's still that index is driven by a lot of big ones. I still like Goldman in this world. MMYT, which I'm long as well, is held up really, the Indian travel stock. What was it? Airport traffic's at all-time highs.
Yeah,
right?
True.
And so I don't want to buy the weak stocks, but with airport traffic at all-time highs, the airlines aren't the ones, but MMYT is interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, chase it here. No, we were talking about it in the 40s. But so anyways, there is strength.
There's select pockets of strength, but if you're an active trader, you have to be nimble. It's in an environment where, at least in the previous week, we saw profits fizzling quickly. So if you didn't take your profits like early in the morning or the same day in the stocks that broke out, you probably saw them evaporate. So you cannot be complacent.
The crypto people love Trump right now because he's pandering to them, and so Trump taking a huge lead.
But Bitcoin is down to what, 60,000 from 72 to 60.
We'll see if it holds down. We'll see if it holds down here now, because it's like crypto people got what they want, right? Like,
let's see.
So it'll be interesting if it sells off into what the perceived win for Trump.
Or is this thing? Let's see.
Well, that's a token, Trump. Like trading that is like trading the mood of the media.
Yeah,
you'll drive yourself nuts.
I mean, another one that I'll be watching is Uber. It's kind of setting up potentially for probably a hot summer.
Yeah,
showed some strength on Friday.
But yeah, if they
none of them are cheap, Howard.
If they come up with this number though, this company is just gonna, if they can do that $2, next year, the stock's gonna be much higher, just because once they prove that they can make money. Uh, you know, for what would be 2-3 years in a row, that'd be interesting. But yeah, not cheap. All right, everybody, Ivan, I'm just gonna, I mean, like I said, like I think
Yeah,
we'll check in next week, but I don't think there's that much to do this
yeah,
week.
yeah. All right, see you next week. Bye.
See you, everybody.